Great. Hey, so this call we do, I'm sorry I got here, I'm way too late. I'm Bill Gross. I'm just like you guys. I'm a practitioner of real estate. I'm a real estate broker associate with eXp Realty in Los Angeles, California. And I also have a probate team I'm building nationwide. Sell houses, and this morning talked to a seller on the phone on a listing appointment with all my team members. That's what I do. I was a little bit late because I was talking to somebody else as well. So I apologize for that. But I'm a practitioner. I took Chad's program 3.5 years ago, as I mentioned. And I consider him my probate coach ever since. I've taken other programs, but I can say that this is the one that's really transformed my business. And so when he had some personal issues, I offered to step in and host this because I need this weekly program to go on, and I'm willing to be of service to help out. The purpose of this call is for us practitioners to share best practices and questions and work through the program as we build business. There's no silly questions, because if you have a question, no doubt there's one or two other people on the call, and there's probably people listening on YouTube who would also have the same problems. And I always tell agents I coach that if you don't have problems, you're not working hard enough, because we as agents get paid to solve other people's problems. That's our basic business. And probate is another. I'll just share with you guys a story this morning. I have a team member in Southern California who asked me to go to listing presentation via video with the seller. The seller listed a property and discovered, now the listing agent didn't order prelim when they listed it. Mistake. I probably didn't read the profile when they listed it. Basic mistake. Discovered in escrow that the property was owned not just by the person who signed the listing contract, but by a decedent as well. And they had to cancel the escrow and cancel the listing. We're going to relist the property, and we're going to present the estate, help them through the process, help them through the legal process of the probate. And because of that, I'm going to get a listing somebody else went all the way down to the 11th hour, and we're going to get paid. And that's the purpose of this call. It's not just I get paid, which is great. I love getting paid. My team member gets paid. We love that. But we're helping somebody who really, this customer is really indigent. Like, this is life-changing money. They thought 30 days away from getting paid, and find out that they can't. So that's what we do. That's the opportunity we have here with families. There's a whole assortment of other problems we can help them solve. In the course of talking to him, it turns out he has another property that we're going to hopefully list for him as well that has another probate issue. So that's what we do. And how do we do that? We do it by finding people's problems and offering to solve them. So anyhow, anybody have any questions today? It's meant to be interactive. If you're here, feel free to raise your hand. If not, here you go. So how can you overcome imposter syndrome when representing yourself as a seasoned probate expert? So Vince asked a great question. And this is one that all of us who are new in real estate, this is a common challenge that we all have. And the same problem exists in every probate training program. But the same problem, if you think about it, is a real estate agent problem as well. Vince, are you an experienced agent or a brand new real estate agent? 28 years. Okay. So at some point though, and this is again, a common issue, think back when you're a brand new agent, somebody said, how long you been in the business? And we all feared that question. And I always coach agents, there's two ways you can answer that question when you're brand new. One is, I'm brand new, but the good news for you is that means that you are my most important client. I also happen to have a whole team of people who are going to help me with this. So if I was anything I don't know what to do, I'm going to go to them and ask them. I don't have them to double check all my paperwork, but I'm going to kill to get your home sold and get you the best price possible. Is that the kind of agent you want to have helping you? That's an option. Second option is you can rely on the experience and expertise of your team. Almost every realtor works for some sort of office. You have a broker, you have an owner. And if you don't, you're part of this group. You can legitimately say, I'm part of a probate network of 3,000 real estate agents across the country. And I'm on that call every week, working with experts, the best of the best. We talk to attorneys, we talk to vendors to find out the best practices. So not only are you getting a real estate agent, you're getting somebody who's involved in the largest probate network in the country. Now, you have to believe that for it to come across to somebody else. Let me ask you guys, when I said that, did you believe that answer? That sound real for you? If it did, put yes. If no, be honest, say no. I once had an attorney ask me how many properties I sold in court. I got some yeses. I think no's. I'll assume if it was no, you don't want to put it in there because you embarrass me. You can't really embarrass me. I had an attorney ask me how many properties I had sold that needed court confirmation. And I hadn't sold any at that point, but I'd seen hundreds of them. The funny thing was I told her none. And even though she was referred by an attorney who I did other work for, and I know would have done a great job, I have watched her since, and she doesn't the agency works with is not good. I didn't get her business. A year later, I came back to her and said, hey, I've closed 25 court confirmations in the last year. I've done more than anybody else other than the court's appointed vendor. And I know I can do a great job on yours. I couldn't get her to return a phone call or an email. So sometimes that question is just a nice way of saying, I don't want to work with you. Sometimes it is actually a question, but I believe you need to have that answer down. Maybe you need to write it out. Maybe you need to role play it. Maybe you need to video yourself saying it, but you need to get to where you believe you are the best. And so the key phrase that you used, Vince, was imposter syndrome. You're not an imposter. If you've been in business 28 years, you've probably sold hundreds of homes. And I don't know what company you work for, but you probably have a broker or owner or somebody there who's very experienced and has done maybe some probate, or maybe at the regional office or the national office or whatever. And even if not that, if you're all on your own, you have all of us as experts to help you in your business. So hopefully it helps, Vince. And if not, then you maybe have to think about changing to where you can get those kind of resources you need. Philip asks, is there a template available for service provider team building? So Philip asks a question that comes up regularly in Chad's coaching, which is that he's advising us to be the solution to our customers' problems. I tell people, I'm your real estate resource from the front sidewalk to the back fence, digging deep into the mineral rights and air rights above you. Anything to do with your property, I'm here to help you. I either have the answer or I'll get you the answer. So when I say it like that, who is the key person on the service provider list? When I say it like that, who's the number one most important?
You are.
I am the service provider. Now, most times as a service provider, I'm going to delegate that to somebody else who's going to do the actual work. I'm not going to cut a tree. I'm not going to do junk out. I'm not going to do molly maids and clean it up, but I've got people. And if I don't have people in that area, I'll find people. You have to be committed to being that person. I had a property where I represented an investor buying a probate property. The listing agent didn't want to lift a finger to clean out the property. It was just junk everywhere. And there were cars on the property, and cars present some other legal issues. But I also knew I had the opportunity to earn the business from the attorney by offering to step in and say, hey, we need to get the junk out. There's health issues here. There's stuff that's unsafe in the refrigerator that would be a health issue. You have cars that are of value to your estate. Let me help you with that. Now, I didn't drive down a hot wire the car and sell it to somebody. I called a guy who did that. It was a couple phone calls to find somebody, and then he did it. And the estate got some cash. And I said, I'm going to take that cash and use that to clean out the property. And the attorney was great with it. The attorney said, spend it all. Get all the stuff out of there. All they wanted was a couple key items that I took care of. And here I'm the buyer's agent doing that. So to answer your question, Philip, you are the service provider. And I don't know, I would spend time finding people on your list. What I've done is, as I find them, I interview them on YouTube and use that as marketing material. I've interviewed junk out people, clean up people, estate sale people, every kind of vendor I can think of to demonstrate to attorneys the different people that I know. But I don't need to wait to get business till I find one of each provider, because I'm in LA. I might need 5 of each in each direction, in the Valley, the South Bay, and Orange County. So it would be endless to build the roster. It will be, but I'll forever be adding people into my list. Okay. And then Scott says you probably know more than they do. Well, that's the truth. If you saw the movie Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio is an imposter. He plays a high school substitute teacher in, I think it was math or history. And they asked him, how could you teach a class? You were just a couple years older than them. And the answer he said was, why did you write a chapter ahead of them? As long as I knew one chapter ahead of them, I was an expert. Okay, and then says you specialize in real estate appraisal for the last 20 years, now transition back to sales. Look, you've been in real estate the whole time. And I think that we segment ourselves in a way customers don't. If you spent 20 years doing appraisal work, you've seen way more property than any realtor, and you've looked at more values. You leverage that. Don't diminish that. Leverage that when you talk to your customers about your business. Yes, you should see the interview with Frank Abagnale and Jenny Carson. That's Catch Me If You Can. That was the actual real life person. That's fantastic. Pete says, can you go through the kind of questions you ask when interviewing prospective vendors? I find I give out a lot of referrals, but don't get any back. So Pete, I'll agree with you that I give out way more referrals than I ever get back, but I'm not giving out the referral to get the referral. I would like it and expect it, but I get my feelings hurt all the time. But I'm giving out the referrals for the benefit of the customer, not for the benefit of the vendor. And that's where I think we can get off track. If we're giving business to somebody because we think we're going to get it back, we're not really giving, we're taking. It's a complicated form of taking. And so what I would say, Pete, is the best vendors I find are so busy, they're going to forget you, and you need to reach out to them. You add them into your COI, your center of influence or sphere of influence marketing package, and you email them and you call them and you reach back out to them. The questions I ask, I think the first thing I always in an interview is start off with personal questions. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? And how'd you get into business? And then I try to describe their business in detail. And I also try to talk about who's successful using their business and who's not, what the distinction is. Those are always the things I focus on. So things like the most successful agents, what do they do? The ones that the less successful agents don't do, and what holds people up from being successful. Those are kind of areas I was focusing on. Hope that helps a little bit. Watch my videos. My YouTube channel is Bill Gross EXP, and I interview different vendors there. Vince says, you like to see referral vendors being bonded, I think is the type of bonded insured, or could they be mom and pop outfits? I don't really care. Bonded insured is important in certain things if you're handling money or valuables, but for the most part, I'm looking for somebody who has a track record of success. So I don't get too deep into those things. It's good to be bonded. It's good to have insurance. So hope that helps. Okay, and Pete, you're welcome. Good. Okay, so we knocked through some questions. Let's see. The side say don't give out the vendor list directly to the PA, or is that not correct? So Deborah, I wouldn't. I think that I do give out certain vendor lists. It's funny. If you go to my website, I have a list, for example, of probate data. Chad doesn't sell probate data. At his prior company, they did. Alltheleads.com is where Chad used to coach, and they were in the business selling the data. And I think their data is really good. It's good quality. They, I think, vet it well and double check it or whatever you can do. It's not perfect, but I'm not involved with them. I mean, I like them and I appreciate them, but I also know that their data is a little more expensive. And for agents starting out, it's difficult. And if you're not going to use their mail service, they integrate really well with their mailing. If you're going to use mail, I would say use their data and use their mail service, and the integration is great. If you're not, if you're just going to call, there's usually some cheaper alternatives, especially if you're getting started. But
Yeah.
I list all the data services on my website, and you can, so I give out a vendor list, I guess, maybe I'm violating their own rule, but I would generally not, I don't give out the vendor list to anybody because it's always changing, upgrading. I want them to call me. I started the Mike Ferry system, and the whole goal there was that never everybody call you and you were just prospecting sellers and setting appointments. And I would say this is 180 degrees opposite, which is I want people to call me. I want attorneys to call me. I had one call me last week for a document. Could I introduce him to my title rep? Could I send him a link to the software and he get on his own? Of course. I want them to call me. Of course, I want them to call me to be the solution to the customer. So I would give out the vendor list just because I want them to talk to me. I want them to value the relationship. And I don't have a problem giving them vendors, but I don't want to give out the list. I want them to call me for questions. If that makes sense. Rich has his hand up. What's going on, man?
So I'm going to ask David a quick question because I know he hits the phones a lot. I'm getting some really nasty people on the phone. I'm getting people calling my business. I say, hey, real quick, what do you guys do with the property in the estate, or real estate in the estate? So I'm getting like nasty people saying, oh, none of your business. How do you handle that?
You just got to rub some sugar on those conversations. If you could just focus on 2 good contacts out of 100 leads, probate leads, distress leads, foreclosure, expired, for sale by owner. If you could really just hone on in a 45-minute or a 90-minute window to prospect, and you could get 2 good people on a market update that are going to sell a house in the next year, not today. I think we're taught that we need to get that appointment right now. I think that probably works in 2013. But if you listen to the calls now from people and have VAs and all those people, they're using the exact same script that's taught. Hey, I have a team. Hey, I'm the best person to sell this house. They don't want to hear that bullshit. Sorry, my language. They don't want to hear it. The thing that constantly comes back to my mind is conversation, but handling the objections and conditions. So the best thing you could do, in my advice, is to write down all the conditions and objections that you're going to come across in that niche. And once you practice, you don't need to role play with people that are not going to show up to role play with you. You need to go on a run and a walk, a 5-mile walk, and practice those objections out loud, outside your head, and the conditions. So when you're on the phone, they say, hey, I don't have a house, but it says right here on the records, you still own the house. Is there something I'm missing? Oh, they just want to get you off the phone. It's kind of like when you go to a furniture store and you say, I'm just looking. It's a conversation. You have a pattern interrupt. You have bridge questions, which I say objections and condition questions. You have bridge questions to get information you want to figure out if that is going to be a lead for you and you're going to be able to solve a problem for them. If those two things aren't there, you're not going to have a good conversation that leads to an appointment 12 months from now, 18 months from now. Everybody's goal on this, if you're calling in prospect probate, is to fill that CRM up with people that have a house, have the intention to sell. I have 400 or 500 people in here, but I'm only expecting to get 30 of those people to actually sell with me this year. So the numbers are ridiculously low, but when you go to list a probate property or buy the house, which I'm totally into, I would rather not be the listing agent at this point. I just want to buy houses, but it's that conversation. You just got to have those principles. You want those principles of that conversation. So
yeah, I would say, and I know what David's saying right from his experience, but I would say to you, there's two mindsets you need to master when you cold call. Number one, like Dave said, it's a numbers game. But if I gave you a $1 billion diamond mine, would you complain about the dirt between the diamonds? No, you'd say thank you and dig the diamonds out, right? So bad phone numbers, I get this all the time. Well, most of the phone numbers are bad. Yeah, most phone numbers are bad. There you go. Deal with it if you want to make a lot of money. Many people are not nice to me on the phone. Yeah, some people, depending on your market area, I'm in LA, it's different in different areas. A lot of people aren't nice on the phone. Deal with it. It's a numbers game. And like Dave said, if you get 1 or 2 a day, you're going to build a great business. So it's a numbers game, and deal with it emotionally. Just know that's the process. But on the flip side of that, at the same time, we have to have the mindset that there's a reason why they're responding to me this way. What do I need to do to be better so they don't? People are mean to telemarketers, correct? People are not mean to a local friend of theirs calling to help them. So they must see you as a telemarketer, not as a local friend. So at the same time, you have to look at your numbers, but at the exact same time, how could I be better next time? And I think Dave gave you some nuggets there, right? A pattern interrupt. Make sure you're asking questions to help them. Make sure you're not going for the close too quickly. Asking them what they're going to do with the house. It's kind of like saying, when can we go to bed together, to a girl on the phone? I mean, it might not be the right time to ask that question, and she might slap you in the face as a result. So we need to think about, again, it's a numbers game. Get over it. But at the same time, what could you do better next time on that phone call so that they'll treat you better? Make sense?
And
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
And Rich and Bill, even that I prospect and I get on the phones, I still struggle every single day to start my dialer.
Yeah.
I avoided it today for some reason. I did not want to.
No.
I still have 100 people to call today. I honestly avoided it today.
Okay,
It's
there you go.
partially because of the July 4th weekend. I'm like, man, I just had 4 days off. I'm going to take a 5th.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks for being on and asking questions. That's fantastic. And Pete says that he just got a lead that he had sent out to 2 years ago. That's the business that we're in. Like Dave Pennell was saying, you need to have a way to nurture these leads for the long haul. Not all are going to be 2 years. I'll say on average, they'll be 2 years. Studies in real estate show the average lead from first asking about buying or selling to closing escrow on average is 2 years. There was an amazing study done by Boomtown, which is a CRM company. They would buy leads for clients and they would track them in their software, so they knew the actual number. If agents knew that, like Zillow doesn't advertise that because they know no agent would buy their leads if they knew the average is 2 years. That doesn't mean some don't buy in a day or a week or a month. It's a bell curve, but that the average is 2 years, you have to have a system in place to keep those going for 2 years.
And Bill, it's to everybody that's watching this video and on, most people don't want to make the calls, but if you look at the future and say, look, I don't want to be on these calls in 3 years, you're going to make yourself make these calls. You're going to get good at those calls over the next 18 months, but you're also going to build capital up. And that capital is going to allow you to do other type of marketing that will bring in the same quality, ready now type buyer or seller. If it's a pain point for you, you just got to ignore it. It's a challenge. Like Joe Rogan says on his blog, we have to challenge ourselves daily to improve ourselves. We have to get very uncomfortable. And as soon as you do, you're going to be amazed on the business that you create.
Just to share what I mean by a bell curve, just real quick. The average lead is probably about 2 years. This is the curve. Think of this as time. So they list the property. They ask about a property in buy or sell. Week 1, month 2, month 3, year 1. This is year 2. This is just something like year 3, year 4, something like that. Yes, we make money on those that want to do something right away. But the bulk of the business is 2 years. Half of it's 2 years or longer. So you want to make sure you have a business that hits this fat part of the bell curve. It doesn't mean we ignore the ones that are right away. It just means that we understand that we're building a business. This isn't just a job where you call and get a listing. It's where you call and you're building a business of future leads and such. And then Vince goes back to the service. He says, if you want to be a service, can't expect to strike gold every time. Treat people well and hope for great reviews and referrals down the road. 100%. It's amazing that if you just help people, how the business comes to you, and you don't need to worry about where more comes from. Okay. Any other questions on building your service business or phone calling or the programs coming up?
So I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Regina.
I have a former client who has a family property that they want to sell. And the bottom line is that there were 6 people, 6 family members on title. 3 of them are now deceased. I've consulted with a couple of probate attorneys, but there's one family member that's homeless and estranged from the family. How do you overcome a person like that? I mean, obviously they're going to be part of the inheritance, but if they don't cooperate, then they can't sell the property.
Well, that's not quite true. What state are you in, Regina?
California, Southern California.
Yeah. Have they filed a probate yet?
No, it's not filed yet, no.
Okay. So they file a probate and there's one or two things that happen. Either the person who files as the executor. So when you have 6 family members, some are involved, some are not involved, but any of them, really anybody can file a probate. The judge is going to give priority on certain conditions. But once one files, the brother who's not cooperating doesn't hold up the sale of the property as long as they get noticed. And then the court can approve the authority to the brother or sister who steps up. If they've
We went through probate back in 1995. It was the father's property. So these 6 siblings were part of the orders as the owners of the property. So out of those 6 siblings, fast forward now, 3 of them are deceased. So I guess now they have to kind of do a mini probate for the deceased heirs of the
Yes.
3 family members that passed away.
yes,
For those heirs, one of the adult children, he's the one that has the mental problems and nobody knows where he is. And so he would be the holdup because you need cooperation from all 3.
no, you need cooperation from all 3. You need, as far as the probate, again, I'm not giving legal advice, just business advice based on my experience, but
Right.
you can probate without all 3 agreeing to it. Only one has to file the probate and bring it to the court. And if the court agrees to probate the other 3 estates and distribute whatever, the court agrees to it. You have to notice the other party. They get noticed. They get mailed to the legal, right? In the proper manner, they get noticed of
Yeah.
the filing of probate. They get noticed when it's time to sell the property. Then if the executor has full authority, he files a notice of proposed action. And if the other party doesn't respond, then the heir's share can be sold.
But if they don't know where this guy is, he was homeless over a time. They don't have an address for him. They don't know where he's at.
So there's a process that if they have to make a certain effort to find him. And if they can't, there's certain vendors they use and the court will accept that I've seen this happen numerous times where they present to the court, we use this company, a private detective, a service, or this or that, depending on the circumstances, and we can't find them. And so all you can do is all you can do. Now, if that person is an heir, his money might be held for some reason, but his percentage of it could be held in the probate until they finalize the probate and they try to reach them then. It's funny how people pop up once there's money available, but it doesn't mean they hold up the sale. It means that he'll hold up receiving his percentage of heirship. And at some point in time, that money gets distributed some other way if he doesn't respond. But there's services that they use. And again, that's why I use the attorney service. I use either the right kind of attorney who does probates like this all the time. See, a non-probate attorney is going to tell you, well, it's way too much work. A probate attorney, this is just a normal day at the office.
Mhm.
This is no different from me as a listing agent than there's a tenant of the property. Okay, well, that just means I do these things. Oh, there's no tenant. Then I do those things. The right attorney knows the service and will deal with all that. And we can talk offline if you want a referral to the right kind of attorney, or you might want to use a service like easy-probate.com. I interviewed him on Thursday, and they do these things really well too.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And so can you buy the shows out? Well, again, if he is an heir, the probate has to give him his heirship. You can buy out his inheritance rights, but at some point, whoever buys them is going to want to get paid. And that means they have to go through probate still, Vince. So definitely. And Ken makes the point. So he has to make a case to the probate judge will have something to rule on. Right. So you document efforts. I think that, like I said, there's certain services that different attorneys use that meet certain standards depending on the condition. There's private investigator services. I've interviewed some of those people that will try to track people down. And as I said, it's amazing when you have money coming, how people can find and track them down. And they get paid a bonus based on finding people. So there are those services. Okay. Interesting stuff today, guys. Other questions, comments? Hope you guys are going to come on the call tomorrow on probate court networking. Any other questions, challenges, problems? Come on, you guys this is free. It's funny. We sell coaching services. My time, I bill out $1,000 an hour. So I'm glad to answer your questions for free here. Who's working probate and has a challenge or question? What's holding you back from achieving your goals right now?
I have a question, Bill.
Go ahead, Philip.
So I'm in my third year of real estate. I took the course about 2 years ago. It really opened up my eyes, and I was lucky enough to do a couple probate cases last year, and it was really rewarding. And it's kind of a niche I think I want to focus on moving forward. But so recently I actually came across a lead. It's a house just a couple blocks from where I live. And I noticed in the notice to creditors that there was what they called a professional conservator. And so I looked that person up just to kind of see who they are, and sent them an email, and haven't heard back from them yet. It's been about a week. There's a lawyer obviously on the case. And so I was kind of curious to know what your experience has been, what you know about the role of a quote unquote professional conservator. Is it basically just someone that the estate, or I don't know if it's the attorney, chose to represent the estate of the decedent, and how you might advise going about contacting either this professional conservator or the attorney on the case?
So you're in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
So there's different terminologies in different states. There are conservatorships that need somebody to run it. By definition, a conservatorship is for somebody who's incapable of making their own legal decisions. Typically, they have Alzheimer's or they're in a coma. If they're a minor, that we call that California guardianship as opposed to conservatorship. So who's going to make those decisions? And most commonly, they hire somebody, an attorney, to represent the conservator, or what's called a professional fiduciary. The same thing, professional fiduciary. Their job, their profession is they work with attorneys, they work with courts, representing people who can't represent themselves. And there are certain common problems that come up as far as healthcare for elderly people, or on the youth side, there's certain common problems as far as psychological evaluation, schooling, things like that. There's an industry of people who are called professional fiduciaries, and they typically manage trusts or conservatorships or guardianships. I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I saw professional conservator, and it kind of threw me for a loop there. So
They're the conservator and they're professional, as opposed to, let's say, a family member.
Yeah.
Right? Because there might be a family member who might step up and say, hey, I'll take care of my brother. And it's a lot of work. And if there's any kind of conflict, you're subject to getting sued. And so there's provisions. And if there's an estate where there's money, then that person can get paid for their time and effort and energy. So want to hire, let's say, an attorney who would do a really good job on that.
So this conservator, acting as a fiduciary, is the personal representative for the estate of the decedent. And so is it safe to assume that then this is the person who's going to decide on the sale of the property? Like, what would their role be, I guess, potentially in the bottom line, which is selling the property?
Yeah. I mean, their job is to do what's best for the estate, not for any individual party. And most commonly, they're the ones who make the decision. Like anybody, like any attorney, they'll make decisions in consultation with their clients. They want their clients to be happy. So they might find, well, one of the parties wants to keep the house and decide not to sell it, and they all agree to that. Then it's the job of the executor, the professional fiduciary in that case, to carry out the desires of their clients, as long as it's legal and disclosed properly. But like anybody, I would say they're the ones ultimately who have the legal authority to make the decision. They may make it in consultation with a client.
And so it's probably maybe the kids or somebody else who then is really making the decisions, but then through this fiduciary.
Could be.
So given all that, what would be your advice? Would it be something where I continue to try and break through and establish communication with fiduciary, or should I go straight to what would be your advice to kind of maybe push the envelope here?
Well, I would say I generally would never call a professional to ask for business.
Okay.
I would call a professional to offer assistance or support. And so I would look for an opportunity where you can help them. If you're experiencing probate, that's the reason to call. I know that some real estate agents don't know all the process and procedures, but I have some experience in the area. I'd love to offer assistance if I can help in any way. I can offer a free evaluation of the property. You could drive the property. There's a lot of things you can offer of service to the conservatorship that might be of value. So I would look for those opportunities and try to lead with value rather than asking for business.
Sure. Right.
Now, the other option is attorneys in general. Now, you're in Colorado Springs. So it's problematic today in Los Angeles to invite people to lunch. So many restaurants are still shut down. LA is still very COVID centric. Without getting into the political discussion, just the reality is our courts still aren't open. City council meetings aren't live, they're only Zoom. So in LA, I'd be afraid if I invited an attorney to lunch that they'd think that I'm irresponsible, number one, because who goes to lunch now? We're in the middle of a COVID panic. Now you might say, well, that's ridiculous, Bill. That's the reality in Los Angeles. And that's not the case. Normally, pre-COVID, I would say almost any attorney would be open to a phone call that says, hey, Philip, I'm Bill Gross.
Yeah.
I see you're a professional conservatorship, or I see you're an attorney working in the probate space. I'm a real estate agent who focuses, and I'm an expert in probates and conservatorships. Not looking for any business. I just love to meet you and learn about your business. I'd love to go to lunch with you sometime and see what you do and see if there's a way I can help you. Be available next week on Tuesday or Wednesday better. Invite them to lunch. That's that. Attorneys generally are open to going out to lunch other than COVID. Now, you need to figure that out in your area, but that's what's true in Los Angeles.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Christopher asks, what geographies are you seeing the most increase in probate filings? Well, I don't know that, Christopher. I personally work in LA County. I can't see if it's increasing or decreasing anywhere else. I don't really run the data. And Peter Mark offers in Colorado, there's a company called Fiduciary Services. Okay, good. I think each area of the business there's a little different terminology. It's interesting. I just interviewed a guy who is the clerk to the probate judges in Philadelphia. Now in LA County, we call those people probate attorneys, not probate attorneys that clients can hire, probate attorneys that work for the court, that review documents and support the judge in processing the probate paperwork. To us, clerks sound like a secretarial position. But in Philadelphia, the clerk to the judge, just like the Supreme Court clerk, is a very prestigious position. So it's not secretarial nature. It's very much a position of respect. So every area has a little different terminologies, and some are funny that they get different names. Oh yeah, and also Kat saying that the conservator can, doesn't mean they always do, but she points out that they can bill the estate for their time. Even a family member can, and even on a probate, and at least in California, if you file to be the executor or you're the petitioner on a probate, and you take the job as the administrator or executor, you're entitled to fees. And there's a limit to how much you can charge, but you're allowed to pay yourself fees in exchange for the time you put in. And same with conservatorship, they can charge for that. So if you're going to pay somebody, you could pay yourself, or you might want to pay somebody else. They're more efficient with it. Okay, I think we're coming up on the end of the hour here. Any last minute questions, challenges, problems we can wrap up with today? Hey, Dick, nice to see you on the call. What's your friendly faces? Anybody else have any questions, challenges, problems? Thank you, Vince. Appreciate the feedback. I agree with you. I thought it was a great session. Covered a wide variety of topics today. This call is meant to be answer questions like this, a wide variety, because if you're working in this business, you're going to come up with all kinds of crazy questions and problems and challenges. That's the nature of our business. So we want to give you that opportunity to do that. Not seeing any. I think we'll wrap up unless somebody has a lot. Oh, there we go. Winston's got his hand up. Winston, I think I predicted you're going to do that. How can I help you?
Well, I wanted to do here, Bill, can we still get signed up with Chad's new class for $250? Is that still doable?
I think it's now down to 400. But if you go on the website right now, you'll see it was 250 through, I think it was Friday last week, or no, it's through June 30th. And then now it's $400 pre-launch, and then you get another $50 off if you use the promo code pre-launch. So it's $350 at this point, net.
They did.
Sure. Don't snooze, you might lose. Okay, any other questions? Thank you. You're right. You're welcome. Okay, and Mario, thank you for coming in. You're welcome to participate. Again, it's meant to be participative. And I always tell people on these calls, the more you participate, the more money you make. The more you give, the more you get. And so look for opportunities to grow your business. Don't be shy. Raise your hand. Jump in. Ask questions in the chat box is good. Video calls and talking is even better if you can. That's why we have this. That's why I'm hosting this, is because I need this call every week to ask questions and be available with the group and with Chad. So let's all continue to work together and be successful. I'm Bill Gross. I host Probate Weekly every Thursday at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then it's live streamed and recorded on my YouTube channel. Bill Gross EXP is my YouTube channel and other social media. Hope you guys can catch up with me there. This is Probate Mastery. We do this every Tuesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. It also is recorded and put on YouTube, on the YouTube channel for Probate Mastery. It's also on the Probate Mastery website. That's the best place to go for recordings, snippets. If you have questions you want to research, it's a great resource. Kat does an amazing job on the Probate Mastery website. So feel free to join on there. And then hopefully you guys are going to jump into the Earn program, if that makes sense for you. And otherwise, it's been a pleasure today. Hope to see you guys next week. Thank you so much, everybody.